Let me just reiterate a couple of things here. Sometimes I say a couple, but they're not a couple. I don't know how many things will come out. You know the story of the elephant, right? And how when you touch parts of it, you only get the trunk. Assuming it's in the dark room and you start touching the elephant, and if you touch the trunk, you describe the trunk, you touch the legs, you describe the leg, and so on and so forth. That's how I have always felt about the way that Dhamma had been conveyed for a long time. You know, you have parts of it. And when you pull out the suttas, you also have parts of it. What I've been trying to do this evening is to draw the whole elephant. And I'm hoping that if you see the elephant, it would help you to position for yourself, place for yourself where you are, what you must do, and what are the street signs, what are the milestones you should look out for in this journey towards Nibbana. I have said initially, and I'm repeating the point, this is about the practice for Nibbana, the end. It is not for deeper understanding of Dhamma to pass exam, or have some understanding of Dhamma and then we have got some philosophical delight because we're so smart, we understand Dhamma. It's nothing to do with that. It's practical, it's for realization. At the very minimum, when you're through with this, you should be a happier person. If you get what I'm saying every week and you start practicing, right, you should be a happier person at the end of this journey. At the end of this 1 year journey.
Character transformation.
Character transformation, well done. Yeah, okay. Feel free to stretch, okay? So, I said the first part deals with developing certain mental states. Those mental states must be in the mind before the mind can see Dhamma. The second part, how do you know that the mental states are there? How do you know this mind is ready to see? I told you what to look out for. I will elaborate later in the subsequent weeks. The third part of the lecture was about what do you see? Now they've developed all these mental states. Also kilat already, or mental state all come out already. What are you supposed to see? And I told you, you have to see the Four Noble Truths, you have to see the Eightfold Path, you have to see the three characteristics, you have to see conditionality. Okay? The fourth part. Why do you have to see these phenomena? What is so important about anicca, dukkha, anatta, Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, conditionality? What is so important about them that we must see them in order to realize what? And the point I wanted to make, and I kind of alluded to it, is ultimately is about this word. Now that I am more measured after a break, my words are smaller. Nibbana, okay? To get to, why do you have to see this phenomenon? To get to this state, your mind must grow. The mind will grow. And the mind go through a process of growth. It's a learning process for the mind. This is how your mind will start to grow. First, if you look at your notes, I wrote 4 boxes, okay? And the first one I said was, the mind must be able to see mental, physical, phenomenal as they are. First one, that means in your meditation, in your daily life, you have to see anicca, dukkha, anatta as they are. Example, your feelings come up, goes away. See it. You get angry because there's something you want, you didn't get. I tell you, boy, don't keep doing this, don't keep doing this. Boy continue to do it, continue to do it. Boy fall, boom. angry. Why? I don't want you to fall. I want you to be safe. I want. You must see that. You must recognize this instinct to I want. And because I want, I get pain. You have to see that. It's very simple. Here, now that we're talking about it, right? You say, I understand that lah. Instinctively, I understand that. But when it's happening, it's very difficult to see.
Landfall.
No lah. When it's happening, when he's climbing up and down, right? You are getting anxious. You see your mind getting agitated because you don't want him to hurt himself. You can see that. And if you are one of those, you go home and start practicing meditation and all those things, right? If you start doing that, right, you start to see your mind shifting. You will catch it as it comes out. You catch your annoyance as your annoyance come out. You will catch it. You see it coming up. And you will see the connection between getting annoyed and wanting something. You will see that connection. And so the first thing in the training of the mind, you must see these basic connections. They are very basic. Why do you must see the connection? Because you have to understand. First, see. And then you have to understand the links. That you lost temper because you want it. The link. And then at the point when you say, it's okay lah. You fall, I will at most send you to A&E. At the point when you accept it, you feel a little bit better. You must see that connection. Okay? This connection is what the Buddha said. Celebrated phrase. When this is, that is. With the arising of this, that arises. When this is not, this doesn't exist, that doesn't exist. With the cessation of this, that ceases. You have to see connections, links. So the first step is know what you're looking for. The second step is see how they are linked. That's Dhamma. This is Dhamma. The first step, you have to see the concept, okay? You have to see impermanence. You have to see anicca. You have to see dukkha. You have to see how dukkha is linked to one thing. The second step is not the superficial seeing. You realize, it hits you, that the connection is tight, is direct. When there is one thing, there is stress. When the one thing drops, the stress drops. The connection is tight. You have to see and understand. Okay? Then comes the practice. This is the part. That you are able to see, that you are able to understand, are you able to accept? Are you able to accept? Because if you can accept, then this is what it means. I observe, I track, I see, I understand, I accept, you let go. If you can accept, you are letting things be. So I give you an example. Now comes the more chim part. This is gross. I give you something more chim. Suppose I say you are very much into the cooking of this restaurant. You must have it. Once a week, you will go there and you must have it. And then the restaurant closed down. Xiao liao. Kek sim, okay? Now you watch your mind. You watch your mind. If you're a practitioner, this is what happens. I want. You start to recognize for yourself wanting. What does it feel like? You think you know. Who doesn't know craving? I know craving, you will say. Or so you think. in this practice, you will look at craving, you will look at wanting, you look at desire, you look at desire, how it comes up, how it fades away, what it looks like. You actually learn it very well. You learn it to a point where you got used to it. You look at it, that's one thing. That's one thing. Ah, no big deal. One thing drops. Think of eating mee siam. I kept, the last time I used this example, I'm not very original, I must repeat example. You eat one plate, you eat 2 plates, you eat 3 plates. By the time you hit your 5th plate, right, I bet you sian already. Your wanting goes. In the same way, when you look at craving, you keep looking at it, keep looking at it. You look and look and look until the craving becomes familiar. It becomes your best friend. It feels the same. It feels the same. And when you accept that, that craving drops. All of you have lost temper, right? Yes? So haven't. Normal. So all of us have lost temper. Huh? Have you noticed yourself when you lose temper, it goes up? Okay? Then if you look at it properly, if you look at it, it will linger at some maximum point. This is where it hits 93 degrees. But if you keep staring at it, right, it should actually turn around and start to do this way. It will start to go down. You keep staring at the energy, it will start to go down. Why does it go down? The energy will fade when you got used to it. It feels the same. What is there to be so obsessed about? Why am I so angry? It's the same energy. Just sudahlah, sudahlah, sudahlah. Then after a while of sudahing, it will drop. That is why when you get angry with people, if you don't keep adding fuel, right? You don't keep saying that he did this, he did that, and you forgot about watching your own anger. All you're watching is what he has done. That's your object. What he has done, what he has done, what he has done. But if all you're looking is the nature of the anger, the nature of this energy, what does it look like? How does it taste like? How does it feel like? If you keep looking at this one, look long enough, it will drop. Okay? So, the reason why you are looking for the phenomenal, as the Buddha tells you to look or told you to look, is because when you start to look at those phenomenal, after a while of looking at those phenomenal, your instinct to hold on drops. It's an automatic process. Look, if you are so familiar with impermanence, if you keep looking at your mind and all you're seeing is coming, going, coming, going, coming, going, you keep seeing that, are you going to cling on to your anger the next time it comes up? If you see it often enough, anger also same, come, go. If there's something you really want, something that you really like, and then you stare at it, and you know in your heart, it will come and go. The desire also will come and go. So after a while of keep seeing these phenomena and realizing the phenomenal governs the mind, you keep seeing it, after a while, the mind develops a new habit. And this new habit is, sudahlah, let it be lah. Let it go. It becomes automatic. So, this is the reason why you can't go at the start point of your practice and say, I will jam everything. Right at the start, before you even learn Dhamma, right? You say, oh, Buddhism is about letting go. I let go. In fact, nothing got let go, leh. Isn't it? Because a lot of us say, Buddhism is about letting go, right? Buddhism is about letting things be, right? Okay, right. At the start point, we say, I will not lose temper, but my temper is way up there, and then I got this smile on my face. Then I get very tense because muscles all very strained, right? But we're not accurate, ma. The smile doesn't reflect what's inside, you see. You just want to let go. And then this one looks more like king, you know, king. Yeah, king, what I don't know lah, but suppressing lah. It's all suppressed. And then unleash at them macam lava at them. So Therefore, the practice is about knowledge, understanding, realization, and then the letting go is easy. Because you keep seeing, you keep seeing, you keep seeing, you keep seeing, after a while is, sudah lah, same thing what? Same angle looks like that. And then it will really fade away very fast. Then you don't have to let go. The mind lets go by itself. Okay? The point is, the mind has to learn itself. And when the mind learns itself, the mind 自己放轻松，自己放下 automatically let it be. Think of it like making agar-agar. The balance is correct, the thing will settle into a non-movable state. If the balance is wrong, then you boo-boos. It's all off. You understand? If your balance is correct, it settles down. Sui-sui. And then that's it. That's it. Quiet by itself. Okay? Now, so why must you see the phenomenal? You see the phenomenal so that you understand the mind. You learn to internalize what it looks like, how it feels like. And when you see it for long enough, the instinct, you don't even have to try. The instinct is it will start to drop by itself. You don't believe it, you try. Okay? Tomorrow, you get angry, you just watch anger. Don't watch whoever made you angry. It's not his fault. Okay? Whatever anger comes out, it's not his fault. You just watch your own anger. The nature, the energy of it. Just watch it. Like watch movie like that. Okay? And then let it be. And you see how it feels. After a while of watching, you'll learn that it's okay lah. I'm not so angry a person already. I go from 10 very angry to 8. So much better already. Okay? Now, what happens when you see? The last thing that I will share with this class is when you finally see Dhamma. The day will come. Okay? No balloons one, no balloons. When you finally see Dhamma, it's a gradual process. It's very gradual. Essentially, 2 types of things happen to your mind. Actually, one is mind and the other one is behavior. You develop wisdom. In Buddhism, in Pali, we call it vijja, V-I-J-J-A. And because of your wisdom affects your value system, your priorities. It changes the way you think about the world, okay? When that happens, your behavior will start to change. The choices you make will start to change. How you treat people will start to change, okay? When you see Dhamma, you begin to see the world in a very different way. Where the world gets caught up with petty gains. The world gets caught up with petty gains. You will see big picture. That one battle doesn't make a war, in other words. That you lost here because you gave in to your anger or because someone else beat you to something. It's not going to change the broader things about life, what really truly matters. Your priorities will change. Before, there was a time when you haven't seen Dhamma, the way you look at the world is likely to be what's in it for me. Why am I important? I should be the most important thing in your world. And yours, and yours, and yours, and yours, and yours. Mine as well, just everyone. Yeah? In fact, we are so caught up with ourselves, we don't see the rest. It's just me, and I, and mine. The more narrow you are, the more your world has only you. The wiser you are, the more you see others. Yes? This one we also mundane, we understand. When you see Dhamma, when you begin to understand Dhamma and see it, then yourself, the I, becomes very small. The world becomes very large. That's how it is, okay? You will also see the world as a conditioned world, meaning to say, something bad happens, you're likely to say, okay lah, condition. Some people will say, hey, isn't that quite pacifist, quite reactive? No, that's quite wise. That is wisdom. If you are not wise, you tend to fight over the small thing. If you're a lot wiser, you will say, a lot of things is okay. I can let be. After all, this leads to that, that leads to that. What's the big deal? Okay? You start to see the Buddha's mental model, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta. You start to see the I. The I is illusionary. The me mind is fake. It's mental construct, it's mind-made. You start to see how the reason why you are so unhappy is because you have all this craving. It becomes second nature. It becomes instinctive. Just as today, our instinct is to go and gratify senses. You want something, just go get it lah. That's the instinct. But when you start to see Dhamma and deepen your feel for Dhamma, then you also will tell yourself, you try and get and see what it gets you? Dukkha. You see what I'm saying? So the instincts will start to change, your priorities will start to change. And how does that affect behavior? You will start to moderate your desire. You will learn to make wise choices between choices. No one have to teach you how to make the right one. You kind of know what makes sense and what doesn't. In traditional Buddhism, in early Buddhism, they will tell you that when you see Dhamma, three things happen to your mind. Three things will drop in your mind. The first one that drops is knowledge of Dhamma for you comes alive. You no longer ask, when you look at the Buddha's teaching, you no longer ask, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Because for you, Dhamma is living Dhamma. It comes alive and you see it in operation all the time. Okay? So what it says is perplexity drops. Perplexity means what is Dhamma, what is Dhamma, what does it mean, what does that mean? That perplexity drops. Because Dhamma becomes instinctive already. It becomes a part of you, your life. You no longer question what is this and what is that. The second thing that drops is something called sakkaya ditthi. The belief in a soul. The belief in the essence of something living inside. Here's this tiny thing that lives inside there that drives you. You must watch Men in Black, you know exactly what I mean. Two, right? I can't remember which one, but I think it's that little thing that drives you. Yeah, you no longer believe he exists or it exists. Because all you see is ecosystem in operation. And the third thing that disappears is you're clinging on to a set of ritual, believing that the rituals are necessary for you to develop spiritually. You will realize that practice is it. Rituals don't purify your mind. They don't make you smarter. They don't make you wiser. They don't make you bala, realize nibbana. The rituals can't do that. But the practice means just be. This one. This, and this. Developing these guys matters. Okay, so that's the roadmap. Let me recap. What must you develop? The mental states. What must you develop? What happens to your mind when they are there? The mental states when they come up. What they are like in the mind. What do you see? All the what's lah. What do you see? What must you see? Must see. What do you see? What must you see? Cannot suka-suka one. You must see Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, and how they work. You have to see for yourself what's anicca, dukkha, anatta. Have to. And then you realize conditionality. Everything depends on condition. I'll give you one example of conditionality, just for the heck of it. Just one example. There. What do you see?
A marker pen.
Well done. To see the marker pen, you need to focus your attention here. Yes? Your eye, look at the pen. The mind register that there is a pen. The mind recognizing that this is a pen. The mind is now very puzzled why I want you to look at the pen. Yes? Can you see how your mind goes from one step to the other? Did you see that? Your eyes see a marker pen, register it's a pen. What's the problem? Feeling arises, puzzle, neutral. Annoyance, what does it mean? Feeling arises, with feeling, maybe thoughts arise. Every single mental state sits on the previous one. Sits on the previous one, sits on the previous one. Yes? That's conditionality. That's all. That's conditionality. And if you can understand that your mind is a whole spectrum, unstoppable series of conditionality. Again and again, they spin. I see, I hear, I respond. I see, I recognize, contact, recognize, feeling, thinking. It's a whole series of them. And they happen. You're not even aware of it. It does its more merry thing, right? Did you actually go drive each one? No, I see. I don't do anything else. I just see. No lah, you see, there's contact, there's thinking, and then it runs by itself. So the nature of the mind is a series of conditions. Therefore, what do? You have to learn the principle driving this condition so that you can decondition. The practice is about reversing it. Don't follow the pattern. The pattern can be understood and lived with, and it can turn for the better. Right now, we are all very vulnerable to depression. All of us are, no? Tomorrow somebody close to you die, you'll go into depression. We're very vulnerable to it. If you understand how this mind works, then you're learning the skill to reverse it. That's what it means. And if you can understand this skill, recognize this skill, this is exactly what it is. You learn the skill of reversing it, you take it all the way to a point where it becomes unconditioned. Meaning to say, the mind, instead of constantly being conditioned by the world outside, it reaches inwards and it becomes unconditioned. It's not affected by the world outside. Inside, it's just peaceful. The world outside can be whatever it is, sudah lah. But inside there is quiet. It's an oasis of calm. That's the practice. So the first part is in recognizing what are the things you have to put in place so that you could see. And once you can see, the mind will know how to let go. And once you can let go, 睡了咯. It's true, 睡了. Now you see that whole elephant, right? Then you know for yourself, where are you? Which part of the elephant are you in? Are you at the stage where, oh dear, I haven't even develop all those mental states. If you haven't developed the mental states, you have to start. Otherwise, can't see one. All these things, you'll see what? You can try and see, you attend classes after classes, and the teacher kept telling you, anicca, dukkha, anatta, you have heard until the cow comes home. Cow comes home, give birth already, go off to work the next day, still don't understand. Because the conditions are not there. You get it? But when the conditions are there, when all those factors are there, even when you are brushing your teeth, even that, doing whatever business, looking for your clothes before you go off to work, combing your hair, anything that you're doing, that split moment, you get it. Just one small part. Oh, this is impermanence. Oh, this is anatta. Oh, this is dukkha. You see what I'm saying? All these little bits will come in. Daily life. You hear something, you like it. You see, it's so easy. Hear something I like, only happy. And then happy craving. Tonight go iTunes store buy. Not that you cannot buy. Not that you cannot buy, you know. Buy. The point is, learn to recognize the mind. Don't be harsh on yourself. I'm not asking you to go home and flagellate. I'm so bad. How come I lose temper so bad? Sudara, you want to learn to forgive the world, better forgive yourself first. You have to learn to let go, forgive yourself first. You have to start that way. Okay? And it's very important now. All these principles that you are learning, right, applies to the world, applies for yourself. I ask that you show, say for instance, I show compassion on the world. You also must show compassion for yourself. You want to show patience to the world, you also must be able to show patience to yourself. Then you'll be saying, why am I supposed to show the world compassion? If your compassion is true, it's boundless. If your metta, your loving kindness is true, it's boundless. Meaning to say, everything, not just, I only show Stephen. But I come to Stephen's house, I show Stephen. You, I don't show, you come late, go to Changi Airport. Not show. Cannot like that, okay? All bao liao. If I bring down anything, right, Mei Xuan's paying for it. Dana. So no, the point is, whatever positive principles that you are learning here starts from home. It starts from here. So I've noticed very often, Buddhists particularly, we show compassion to the world, we show patience to the world. We have no anger to the world, but we have a lot of anger to ourselves. Why you like that? Why you still do this? Why you so no standard? Why you practice also cannot do this? Yeah. All salah. Okay. Usually, if it's when you are more peaceful, the peace stems everywhere. It goes everywhere. Okay? And it doesn't make you a bad person, it just makes you a wiser person. Okay, now Ronald, you can ask your question, and anyone else can ask your question. Yes.
Okay. I remember last time talking about the purging of the hindrance, the
yes.
ill will. Then when I register the rising of the anger, right, the ill will, not anger, it's ill will.
Yes.
Then the method course I saw.
Yes.
Then after it's spin long. So I watch over very long, very sian already. So I give a positive toss into it. Then it's outside. Then is it alright to do this to purge the hindrance?
Yes, you can do that. As long as you see it come out. Actually, when you become better at the practice, you will jam it right at the doorstep. The moment it arises, you stop it. And when you are not mindful enough, it's fermenting inside there, you know it, you're supposed to drop it. The negative ones lah. By right, it should be done like this when you're very skilled. But when you first set out, when you're still toddling, right, you're new to it, it takes a bit of effort to try and get rid of the angry thought. Then yes, You can do it by those ways. Whatever can bring out positive thought is a good thing. For instance, I'll give you an example. You got angry with somebody. You're very annoyed with this person. Then you remembered, actually he's quite nice lah. You know, he buy coffee for me every morning. Yeah, when it's raining, he bring umbrella out, take me, you know, help me out. That sort of things. So you start to think of positive things about what this person has done for you. And because of that, your anger shifts. You need help, do it like that. Because you can't you're not skilled enough to jam it at the doorstep, right? So you need all this little thought construction to reverse it. That's fine. This is in the earlier state of the practice. Later on, when you have become a little bit more kilat ready, you know, more kilat, then you must jam at the door.
Sometimes it just go, but sometimes it spin.
It's new, early days, okay? When you are very new to it, especially if you're of the angry nature, you see, we are all different. Some of us are angrier than others. Some of us are greedier than others. Some of us are dumber than others. Loba, dosa, moha. Some of us are more scary cat than others. Buyer, okay? We are not perfect. We have all four, okay? Loba, greed, dosa, anger, moha, lack of wisdom. And buyer is fear. All of us have four of them. Some of us have one more prominent than others. In fact, most of us will have something more prominent, okay? All prominent means equal, okay? Equal, maybe equally low, okay? Not necessarily equally high, you know? Must see her got some up like that. Now, the one that is most prominent for you, right? That's the hardest for you to suppress. That's the hardest for you to tackle.
Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's...
Yes, because it's our nature. Condition-based. It's all condition-based. Can you see the condition there? Yeah. Some days when you talk more, not okay. Some days when your mind is already in the agitated state, something happens, not okay. Some days your mind is in a happy state, like today, you know, after class, everybody laugh, very happy. Go to car, people cut in your lane, it's okay. Cut. Metta, you know? Right? Then on the days, teachers scold. Not teachers scold. No more teachers scold. On the day, boss scold, right? You don't cut in my lane, I tell you, I will chiong you. So you get all raring to go after people already. You see what I'm saying? It's all condition. What's the state of mind is a condition. How you respond is condition. Depending on the condition of the time you respond. One day, daughter come back, Mommy, can I go out tonight? Mommy, good mood. Okay. Go. Don't come back too late. Come back late, never mind, Mommy good mood, it's okay. On day when Mommy the mood not so good, Mommy can I? No. You see what I'm saying? So it all depends. So some days you're better at tackling it, some days you're not. The way to tackle it when you're new to the game, when you're new trying to handle your anger, or trying to handle your craving, you have to learn skillful way to manage. Cannot just jam. Jamming alone can have it springing back at you. But when you are very, very experienced meditator, you've got no excuse already. When you're a very experienced practitioner, you really have no excuse. You see anger arises, you caught it coming up, what are you doing? Go there and what? Fan it up. You caught it coming up, you go do like, macam traffic police, no? Give me your name. License plate, license number, don't know what. You see what I'm saying? Yeah lah. It's very dukkha. That's why the practice is tough. And the Buddha has always said that this path is tough. So you need friends. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you each other? You need Dhamma friends, practitioners to keep you going, to tell you, my dear friend, you know you're on the wrong track. Let go lah. Did you say let go? You still like that? That's a good friend. Whereas today you are likely to appreciate this one. I'm fed up. The friend say, yeah man, let's chiong together. We go stab him tonight. That's not a good Dhamma friend, okay? The good Dhamma friend is the one who say, it's okay lah, let go lah. Can you see yourself burning your mind up? Let go. I was just talking to someone the other day, and this is something which I've mentioned before. You see, a lot of us see this life, but we don't. If you're Buddhist, you must believe that there are other lives. If you're Buddhist, you believe that there are other lives. But we only see this one. And so for a lot of us, we're fixated about protecting this one, doing right, enjoying it, just delighting in it. We do nothing for the subsequent ones. The previous one don't care, it's all over. But we do nothing. We may not do anything very useful for subsequent ones. Practicing Buddhist won't make that mistake. A practicing Buddhist recognizes that this is one chapter. I have a book to finish. There are many chapters to continue. If you don't see it in this life, there will be more chapters to go. If you see in this life, maximum you hit 7. 7 more chapters lah. Like my volume 2 that finishing. If you see it in this life, maximum 7 to go. If you don't see it in this life, there may be many more to go. Okay? And you want to do the necessary to improve your chances of having a better next life. Even if you think that you can't do it this life, you want to do the necessary thing, put the deposit for your next life. This is buying life insurance lah, but this one is to buy the next life and the next life insurance. Whereas we know we usually buy only this life's insurance lah, right? So what we're going to do in this whole series is to help you, at the very least, improve your chances of buying insurance for future lives. But it can also guide you all the way to realization, seeing it for what it is. Okay? Any other question? Yes.
The reason factor of enlightenment, right?
Yep.
You see, we have so many. Must we take everything?
No.
Or all the while, we talk must stage by stage.
No.
So you choose according to your
I would say it this way. They are very similar. Each of them, 4 faculties, 4 powers, 5 faculties, 5 powers, 7 factor of enlightenment, 8 4 powers. They are all very similar, if you notice. As I said, the 3 of them are there, okay? Sila, Samadhi, Panya, they're all there. What's different? The only different ones, one of them has chanda. Chanda means will, desire. Another one has saddha, faith. The others actually don't have anything to anchor separately from everyone else, okay? What it means is, if you are of the mind that you need to identify with Buddha, you need to feel the connection with him, for you, faith is therefore important. And therefore, for you, apart from sila, samadhi, panya, you want to put in this part that anchors you to the faith. Your practice has a +1, GST like that. Okay? Then for some of us, faith is not the most important thing. That there is Buddha, yeah, I love my teacher, but I don't feel it, it doesn't resonate. Then you put in the faith, it doesn't work for you. But you are of the mind that you are the sort who is ngi-ngi-lai one, no? You want it, you must have it. Then will is important for you. Everything, sila, samadhi, panya, you must add in will. When I want it, I will get it. You're of this kind of mind. Then I want to see nibbana. I die this life, I must practice until I see it. What drives you is will. The energy that comes with will. Okay? If you are wisdom-based, it's not about chonging, it's not about, it's not about that, but it's about what you understand. And then all you need is understand. Then 7 factors of enlightenment, 8-fold path enough. Just that last 2 enough, either or. Because the 3 of them are there, and one of them rests a lot on meditation, because the first one is mindfulness, and you take it from there. The other one rests a lot on understanding, because the first one is sammaditthi, and you go from there. They are a bit different. You understand? I see this. Did you bring this one? Did you bring this? Can share? I will explain it again. Yes. The second lecture that I sent out. Appendix 1. Appendix 1, okay? Wow, you're so big! I can see from here. Appendix 1, huh? If you look at your paper, it says the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Hello. 4 foundation of mindfulness. The 4 supreme effort. You see that? Appendix 1. 4 bases for accomplishment, 5 faculties, 5 powers, 7 factors of enlightenment, 8-fold path. You see that? Okay, now I repeat again. For those of you who identify with Buddha, who bow, go through the ritual, it's important you have to identify with him. When you see his Buddha Rupa, his statue, right, you feel joy. For those of you who are like that, right, you want to use the 5 faculties, 5 powers, that one. Because the faith will help you to anchor and drive. So every time you bow, right, there's joy that arises in you. That joy is very important for the meditation. When you want to calm the mind, every time you bow to the Buddha, the mind calms down. For you, it works. You understand? And then, if you don't have a Buddha statue in the house, go get a Buddha picture. No Buddha picture, do what he did. Laptop, okay? All you need is a projector and a laptop. And you can have it as big as you like the Buddha. Okay? But for you, it's important. And you might even need things. Okay, then you ask me, some people, I'm prepared for questions like, what about Kuan Yin? I also can. You want Buddha, okay? Kuan Yin is okay, it doesn't matter. The point is, for you, it is anchored on a belief in something. You must not see Kuan Yin as a separate bodhisattva. You must see Kuan Yin as representative of compassion and wisdom. You understand that? It is compassion, it is wisdom. It is purity, it is practice. It's practice. And then in your faith, the faith, it provides an energy, it creates joy in you. The joy is necessary for the meditation. The more joy you can generate, the calmer the mind becomes, the better is the meditation. You'll be surprised. Which is why people use metta as a meditation object, you see. They're all very fierce one, huh? You do the metta right, boom. But that's a story for another day. Okay, for those of you, faith, Buddha, it's just, for you, it doesn't speak to you. Some of you are just like that. Buddha doesn't speak to you. It just doesn't gel. So you ask me to bow, you ask me to chant, I have no feel for that. Something like that. But your nature is of the, when I make a determination, I will see it through. Some of you are just like that. Virya all the way, chiong all the way. if you're of this nature, then you look at the 4 bases for accomplishment success. It starts off with desire. Desire is what you need. You must want to see Nibbana. I believe in this life I will see Nibbana, or I really want to taste Nibbana. Here energy means sila. I will explain later. The mind means meditation. Investigation means wisdom. The 3 of them are there. Okay? Then if you're neither, you're not Chong type and you are also not faith-based, but you're very much wisdom-based, meaning to say knowledge, logic. You must understand what it means. Then start with the Eightfold Path as it is. Eightfold Path, starting with samadhi, right understanding. For you, Dhamma starts with understanding concepts. So you have to understand concepts. And then you go down the list into the practice. You might be of the sort who has to have meditation. Don't know why, but you love meditation. Then you start with mindfulness one, the 7 factors of enlightenment. 7 factors of enlightenment, it starts with mindfulness practice. The start point is a little different for each one. But the whole package deal the whole thing is, all of them are there. It's your start point that is different. Okay? So for the 7 factors of enlightenment, it's only that start point that is different. Everything else, the same. Mei Xuan had helped me to gather some data. If you look at Appendix 2, they are the suttas. Okay? And you look at each of these suttas, and it will tell you, the 5 of them will take you to Nibbana. The 4 of them will take you to Nibbana. The 7 of them will take you to Nibbana. Then you keep going. How come Buddha has got different things? Because they are meant for different people. Different people got a different starting point. They all lead you to the end. Yeah? They all lead you there. But all 3 sets have to be there. Sila, Samadhi, Panya have to be there. You pick the one that is most suitable for you. Okay? So if you're very wisdom-based, start with wisdom. If you're very meditation-based, start with meditation.
But I don't think it's the will-based. You say you want to see Nibbana, it can be a craving, right? Unless you're talking about...
Of course it's a craving. Ananda, someone said to Ananda, I don't understand how craving can lead you to end of craving. Chanda is desire. This person said, I don't understand how Chanda can lead to end of craving. Ananda said, okay, suppose let's say you want to go to a park. You want to go to a park. The guy said, okay, one thing. Then you go to the park. You walk to the park. And now you are at the park. Do you still want to go to the park? He said, no, I'm there already, ma. Same thing. You want to get to Nibbana. It drives you towards Nibbana. When you hit Nibbana, it stops. That one thing dies. Okay? Dies. For people with a lot of wanting for spiritual enlightenment, they also feel a lot of dissatisfaction. It's very normal. That is why when people go on retreat, when they go for meditation retreat, right? Some of them come out looking more stressed than ever. You haven't seen the one inside there. Meditation, you can cry. Yeah, but it's like that because when they don't know what they are doing, but they know what they want to achieve. I don't know what I'm doing. You ask me meditate, I meditate. But I want this. But you don't know how to get there, you see. You know what you want, but you don't know how to get there. That's the frustration. So that's very dukkha. But they should take one step back and realize that in the one thing to get there, that one thing is knowledge, is Dhamma. If they can let the one thing drop, if they can let that one thing drop, they feel better. You see what I'm saying? And this knowledge, this connection, this connection. It sounds simple, but it's very complex. And it's literal. I'm not saying something figuratively, it's literal. You must remember that what I'm saying tonight, they're all literal. See, connection. When you see it often enough, understand connection, understand it, allow you to let it go. They are literal. And then when you let it go, you feel better. It's also literal. Buddha explained it this way. In your practice, when you practice, it's also this way. You will see that it works like that. Okay?
So in all these groupings, must it always be the first one? Let's say faith first one. So we start with faith.
Yes. For that particular one, it starts with faith. For mindfulness, starts with mindfulness.
Or it becomes, we start something else first.
If you are using a certain method for the first time, it has to start with the first one. But when you get into the hang of it, it can start anywhere. Say for instance, the very first time you want to use the Eightfold Path as a practice, it has to start with samadhi. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand the connection. You have to understand the concept. Then you start the practice. But you're into the practice already. You already understand what samadhi is, right understanding. Okay? You already know it. Then on a daily basis, you don't have to, okay, I must start with samadhi. No need. Whatever catches your mind at the point, it goes from there. But it will spin in a circle. They will come together. So when you don't know what you're doing, okay, but you are going to choose to use the indriya, the faculties, because you have a connection with Buddha, you feel it, okay? Then what you do is, you literally have to bow, develop the joy, remind yourself, Buddha says, learn to do good, learn to do no evil, learn to don't harm things. Learn to observe your precepts, learn to clean the mind. So see, saddha, virya. With virya, you are able to sit and practice. Sati samadhi, and then the wisdom arises. Okay? That's how it spins. So for you, it starts like that. For someone else who's going to use the 7 factors of enlightenment, you're very mindful, suddenly the mind goes quiet. It's very objective. For you, because this is the way you do it. It goes quiet, it's very objective. Objective, you start to see Dhamma around you already. You start to understand, I can see conditionality. I can see how my mind condition, connect, and they're all split second. So you are seeing Dhamma, you're investigating it, you are reflecting on Dhamma. With the reflection, the joy surges. You're energized. Yes, I must watch the mind. Yes, I must keep it clean. I can see how Dhamma falls together now. And because of that, your delight, the quiet mind, the concentration starts. It calms down. And when it calms down, it suddenly gets rather detached. You spin it this way, it's beautiful. Okay, the Dhamma will come at you. You understand? This is how it spins. So for you, as a meditator, this is how it spins for you. Different from the other guy. The saddha one is very different. Okay? But you see the Buddha, when he explained this concept, right? He rolls it down in a certain way. It has to go in that certain way. I'll show you the Eightfold Path, okay? Why does it arrange like that? You start by having an understanding. What did he teach? Sammappadhāna, right understanding. Because you understand, right? When you crave, you have dukkha. You can let go, dukkha drops. You see that connection? So because you see that connection, The next one comes along, right thought, meaning to say on a day-to-day basis, if I see my craving arises, I will let it go. Next, kamma, renunciation. If I see my anger arises, I will let it go. Sudah. These are all very superficial. I'll let it go. Awayappada, awihimsa. Awayappada, no anger. Awihimsa, no cruelty. So every time you see something negative come up, you drop it. You drop it. Sudahlah. Because you have that right understanding, you now have right thought. Okay? How does that translate into a way of life? I learn to watch my mind. I learn to guard the way I speak. I learn to watch the way I behave. I learn not to take advantage of the world. You start to guard yourself. Because you start to guard yourself, your mind can settle into a quieter state. You start to guard yourself, you start to be very aware of the mind. You start to keep your mind space clean. You put in the effort to keep it clean so the right effort comes in. Then, because you are making all these effort, arises a certain degree of mindfulness. With mindfulness, then go into meditation. Not the other way around. Why not the other way around? Mindfulness also enables you to develop some wisdom. I always believe mindfulness enables you to develop some wisdom. If you had started with the meditation first, sometimes people get a little bit too ambitious. So you want to keep the two aligned. Actually, mindfulness and concentration, you want to keep the two very much aligned together. Mindfulness to watch your own practice, meditation to keep it straight, focused, sharp. Meditation actually keep your mind very sharp, very clear. It cuts through things. Mindfulness allows you that span, the big picture. So one digs deep, the other one big picture. We'll go into all these things later, okay? When we go into all the factors. It's like today you want to ask everything, then that's it, no need to come already. Finish. Over. Okay?
Can I ask again?
No, once only. Go ahead.
When some days when I do meditation, concentration, the mind just not very noisy. Then in the end I turn it to I just watch it become like I know it's not concentration, but like watching how it goes about. It become like mindfulness. Is it okay or not okay?
When you do it right, it should stay still. You shouldn't be flipping channels. If you flip channels, you're not doing it right. So when you do the concentration correctly, right, it should not changing, it shouldn't be changing. You know what I'm saying? So is it okay flip? Don't flip.
It's just very noisy, so you know, but you can hear, at the back of mind, you know the image or anything.
Let it go. Don't pay attention to the image. Ooh, okay, when you are new to meditation, I will be doing this later, but to answer it in a short, concise way, right? When you're new to meditation, you need to learn the two separate. Concentration meditation, mindfulness meditation, learn it separate. Know exactly how to do this and this properly. When you have developed the skill of meditation, very experienced meditator, you'll find that they will start to do this. They will start to align. One feed the other. Okay? When you are new, you cannot mix the two. When you are new, you mix the two, you will just ding dong over the place. You can't get to a state we call ekagata. Is it 1T or 2T? I think it's 2T. Yeah, ekagata. One pointedness. a state of mind which is just there. Once it's just there. And it doesn't fly all over the place. Okay? And you will just stay there. One state of mind, there.
If the image or some of the sound, okay, you're breathing, then after some the it's like then some image or sound appear in your mind. Just ignore, just keep
Ignore
on
them.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's natural actually lah. Because I found that like am I doing right? I don't know lah. Because I try to do my breathing, but at the back sometimes there's image or sound. It's like
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, you have to let it go. You should just ignore it and bring it back to the object that you are focusing on. Okay? Any other question?
Iddhipāda can also be mindfulness together.
Not same. You can have mindfulness in a state of ekagata, but you can also have mindfulness without ekagata. They are not the same. In the state of ekagata, when your mind is clear, you can be very watchful of that mind. So that's mindfulness in there. But normal circumstance, when you are caught up with the rising, falling away, when you're watching your own anger, for instance, anger coming up or craving coming up, there's no ekagata. You are stuck watching it. Ekagata is a very clear state of mind. It's very obvious. When it arises, it's very obvious. It's not the same as a normal mind. It's there.
Pervasive.
Yeah, these words. It's very difficult to explain. It is pervasive. Basically, ekagata is when the mind is there, it is clear, it is sharp, it doesn't flip, it doesn't move. The mind doesn't move. It's still. And you can sit in ekagata as long as you have time, you don't mind the time, you can sit for as long as you just on and on and on.
It means mind is stable, but mental object can be several.
No. No. Ekagata, yes, you can have, but not several. One at a time, and you're perfectly clear when it arises. Not several, okay? Several means no ekagata. Okay.
For beginner, when is the appropriate time for meditation suitable?
Beginner of what?
Meditation, I'm saying.
You know, I can't you see, there isn't a right or wrong. In my mind, there isn't a right or wrong. But I do think that it is necessary to have some basic understanding of the Buddha's teaching before you plunge into meditation in a big way. Basic understanding doesn't mean chim class. Basic understanding means you must know the Four Noble Truths, you must know the Eightfold Path, you must know who the Buddha was, you must know why he taught the Dhamma. These are basic. And then you must understand that why you are doing this meditation is so that you can see the mind for itself. You're not doing the meditation so that you can develop psychic powers or nice complexion. Okay? It is about wanting to quiet down the mind and see the mind. So meditation can start when you have the correct understanding. You don't have to finish diploma class to start. You need to have the basic understanding straight. And you must have a basic wisdom. And the wisdom must be, I'm practicing the Buddha's path. I want to see the Dhamma. I want to see what he means by the mind being like that, like that, like that. And I know that Buddha says meditation is necessary for my mind to get to a state where it can see like that, like that, like that. Then I'll start. That's all. Now, in the time of the Buddha, 7-year-old have started. Their monks were 7-year-old. His own son was 7 years old. So I can't say that age is an issue. Okay? And now, of course, Radha, right? Radha was very old. He's probably in his 80s when he started. Different people. So there isn't a right time as such. There's a better time lah. When you have some basic understanding, some wisdom, and you take it from there. Huh? Okay?
So any time of the day you can meditate.
Of course you can meditate any time of the day. You can meditate.
A lot of activities, you cannot sit and meditate. Your
It
mind
de-
must be very calm, then you can meditate.
It depends on individual. Okay? If you are the sort who are easily distracted, then basically what it merely means is when you sit, you are not able to concentrate lah. But if you are the sort who can sit easily anywhere, even in the football field when everybody is cheering Brazil 7-0, 7-1, yes, 7-1, you can also meditate. It
So
all depends on
waiting
the...
for the bus also you can meditate.
No lah, the bus will go by.
No, I mean aware of your breath. Is that a meditation? Just aware?
Being mindful of your breath is a good thing. Yeah, it's mindful. When you meditate,
Concentrate on your breath.
if you concentrate, concentration meditation, the one where you close your eyes and you focus on one object, right? That is samadhi. That type of meditation, better not be waiting for buses. You can sit, someone told me that she sits on the bus and she'll just meditate, which is okay, but once in a while she will end up in the wrong bus stop lah. If you don't mind that, that's okay lah.
Then arising, ceasing.
Just aware of your breath with the eyes open. So it's okay, right?
No, there is no okay or not.
Aware of your breath.
If you're aware of your breath, it's okay. Yeah.
Every moment, just aware of breath. Wherever like you're waiting for MRT or things like that.
Okay, okay. I know what you're saying. When I teach the class on meditation and mindfulness, I would explain a little bit more about how it's done. You see, the tool using the breath is a tool. That's not the furniture. Using the breath is only a hammer. The breath is not your furniture. Meaning to say, I'm using the breath to focus the mind, to keep it quiet, so that this quiet mind can see Dhamma. When I start to see the Dhamma concepts, I understand and I drop. The ultimate is to drop. It is not the breath. So how you use the tool depends on the individual. Sometimes the individual like to use the nail like that. Sometimes you like to use like that. Sometimes you use like that. It depends on the individual. Okay? Which is the reason why, if you look at the suttas, you will see all kinds of explanation given to all kinds of people. Different people get different bits of it, then they get all confused because, why this one say like that, then to this one you say like that? Because they are tools. All these are tools. The tools to help the mind realize wisdom. And when you realize wisdom, nibbana, you will drop. It drops. Your craving drops. With the dropping of the craving comes relief, joy, unconditioned joy. So that's the end. Okay?
Can I ask about going back to your iddhipāda? During this period of iddhipāda, you're supposed to be very aware that your mind is very focused during that period?
Iddhipāda, it's like that. Iddhipāda, your mind is aware. Yeah.
It's very aware.
Very aware.
Because when I do my meditation, I'm not sure what it is, but I have pockets of I'm not saying amnesia, but I sort of maybe because I'm not sure because it's calm, but I have lapses, then I'm aware again, where did I go earlier on? So I'm not
not aware that part, right? Not ekagata.
that is not, so I want to know what that is. So I thought maybe I'm sleeping, but I know I'm not sleeping.
We would discuss that offline. Yeah, it's a different story.
It's a different one.
Yeah.
We'll bring in next round.
No, it's okay. It's on the floor. Don't worry.
Something
You have a question, right?
like that.
Would be wrong to always say 4-8 when actually there's so many groupings?
Sorry?
Have you been all along to focus on just the 8 or half?
You know, in the time of the Buddha, they all knew the 37. It's only in our time that we forget the 37. So we happily go the 7 factors of enlightenment, the 37 factors of enlightenment, and some people just rattle off without realizing what they mean.
That's why I just ate wrong.
Yes, the 8 is just one set. That's why they are like that, you see, the 37 of them. That's why it's like that.
What's the Islam? Question.
Whether it's wrong to just focus on 8, right?
Wrong?
Might as well go for the 4 as the easiest.
The 4 has the 3 plus 1. Remember that?
It's all inside there.
Yeah. The 4 has the 3 plus 1. You suka buat cawan. That's why it's very interesting that once you start to dissect the 37 factors of enlightenment, you realize that buat cawan, all of them are there.
Yeah.
Cannot escape.
Cannot escape.
Always there.
Because of the condition is the get rid of the 5 hindrances. So
Sorry?
if 5 hindrances is the main thing you want to get rid of.
Yes.
So your 4 iddhipāda or whatever, without this you won't see. Then it's trying to say that when Buddha teach this one is to people already have that quality. So you may miss out thinking that this is for you.
The hindrances come and go. At the point when you're practicing, you need to make sure that they are not there. You see, in our daily life, there are moments when we are not mindful. I guarantee you hindrances all over the place. Then there are moments when you are very mindful, the hindrances will start to quiet down. You don't need to completely purge them, then you start practicing. It doesn't work like that. They go together. Even as you are walking the path, even when you're trying to do your meditation, on the day, you learn to clean your mind. You learn to keep the mental space clean. You learn to observe your precepts. You learn to be a nice person. Let go, sudah. You'll find that when you sit and meditate, the hindrances don't come up. They all sleep in their own little corner. They don't come and disturb you. And then at that moment when the hindrances are not there, and you are meditating well, in the meditation, the mind is very clear. You will see the Dhamma concepts clearly. Hindrances completely dissipate at the different levels of sainthood, the different areas. Even the first level have got craving and anger. Yeah. Even the first level still has craving and anger. So the hindrances are there. But it's when they are practicing Dhamma, they are not there. The hindrances will just go to sleep. All under control.
This control of the 5 hindrances, they say, when you meditate and reach jhana, these hindrances, after the jhana, when you are out of the jhana, that means you come out to the senses. Hindrances will not be there so strong because you already put in aside.
When you are meditating, the hindrances fade. When you are out of meditation, back to your normal life, if you're not mindful, these guys will all come back alive, big time. If you have not developed deep enough wisdom to learn to constantly watch the mind and learn to manage the mind. If you have not developed that, then you can be sure the hindrances will come out and blare. Jhana or not, jhana is temporary. Okay? Look, Devadatta, jhana king. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the psychic power. But look at him. Clearly the hindrances are there in a big way. But he's jhana king. Huh? If you don't have jhanas, you cannot have psychic powers. And he developed psychic powers very fast. That's why he was so good at it. So there are beliefs, all kinds of belief system, but you look to the sutta and look to the experience of history, it will tell you a slightly different story. Hindrances arise and fade away depending on condition. The only way they can completely dissipate is when the mind clicks in a certain way. When it starts to click and understand in a certain way, it's automatic. You reach a certain level of understanding, the mind clicks, it will drop. So the only time your lobha and your dosa completely drops is at the third stage of sainthood, third level. Anagami. You're anagami.
But sainthood cannot drop, but more or less reduce, right? Your hindrances.
It will reduce because you have more wisdom.
Yeah.
If you have more wisdom, how to have wisdom if you still have the same degree of annoyance? So you think of it this way. Once upon a time, you're capable of boiling your water at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay? The more you develop, the more you understand, the less your temperature is going to hit 100. It will start to come down. I wouldn't tell you that must hit 50. 51 also cannot. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, okay? It comes naturally, it will drop. Drop to 50, drop to 40. As you develop, as you grow older and wiser, as your hormones start to change, as you learn to let go more, it will start to come down. It's balance. Okay?